Weekend series from the Rogers Center here in downtown Toronto, and as you can tell, it is Minecraft Day here at the ballpark. How's your Minecraft knowledge?
Not great, Dan. I hope you did your homework.
No analysis from you on Minecraft today. I got a couple little nuggets here and there. I've got a 6-year-old who's very into Minecraft, has seen the movie. All I know is JJ and Mikey can solve any problem that's ever been created.
We could use JJ and Mikey.
We could, yeah, JJ and Mikey. We could open up a couple of spots for them. Here come the Blue Jays, winners of 3 in a row. Kevin Gausman, the Blue Jays are the home whites this afternoon. An extra day of rest. We talked about the 53 pitch innings, so the Blue Jays flipped the order, gave Bassett the start in front of Gausman. So Gausman on an extra day. He did throw his side session. Told me, Joe, the one thing he skipped this week, normally he does some lifting, as everybody does, between starts, but he skipped that. Said he kind of had some general body soreness, like he'd been in a bit of a fender bender after that last start, but hopefully that has subsided by today. Look at the lineup for the Cleveland Guardians. And Stephen Kwan's the guy you really got to focus on. Great contact skills, very good speed, uses the whole field. He's the #1 guy at the top of the order. Carlos Santana can be a big problem as well. Every Blue Jay fan knows that. No Jose Ramirez. Stephen Vogt said, quote, "We think we dodged a bullet, but why take any chances as of now?" He is day-to-day after spraining his ankle in last night's game.
Gausman took the loss at Yankee Stadium in that last start, his 3rd of the season, at ERA up to 4.5 now. And the strikeouts are down a bit again this season. He had 3 straight 6+ strikeout games before going to Yankee Stadium, but those 5 walks in that 3rd inning chased him from that ball game. He got the extra day of rest, and I think the velocity is the first thing we're going to be looking at today to make sure he is up there. It's been up and down throughout the course of the season. He always seems to be his best when the velocity is up there. He can pound the top of the zone and make that splitter work well down. But it was just an inning where, as a pitcher, you're looking out there and he just was not comfortable. Yeah. Getting squeezed a bit by umpires too, but just did not look himself at all.
And again, now he's got to take on a guy, the very first batter, as tough a guy to get swing and miss from as there is in baseball, in Stephen Kwan. So right out of the chute, a fascinating matchup to begin this game. The Gausman fastball splitter combo against the contact skills of Stephen Kwan. Kwan, a .323 hitter, and had 3 hits last night, 2 singles and a double. And yet when we asked his manager Stephen Vogt before the game today, what's your favorite thing about managing Stephen Kwan, the first answer, and it was a good 30-second answer, was all about his defense and his baseball IQ. Didn't talk about the offense at all. Inside at 96, and it's a ball and a strike. Jose Ramirez, again, they feel is okay. A sprained ankle, a mild sprained ankle, but not in there today. Second-year manager Stephen Vogt. Splitter in the dirt, 2-1.
Vogt, of course, he talks about not his 3 gold gloves, Stephen Kwan's, but it's about the stuff he can do in the outfield. It's almost as though he can decoy base runners, slow up to a ball, play it off the wall in a certain way to get somebody to go. Well, Vladimir Guerrero tried to stretch a single into a double yesterday, and he nailed him.
You know, and you would imagine growing up, Stephen Kwan wasn't the biggest guy, wasn't the strongest guy. He probably was one of the fastest guys, but, you know, he's probably had to learn to do some things that maybe other people don't have to do as much, and he has turned himself into a tremendous all-round player.
Baseball IQ.
In the air to left center. And an easy one to get it started. Nathan Lucas, the catch, 1 down.
Well, Kevin Gausman, much more of a fly ball pitcher, so he will need his outfielders. Nathan Lucas gets the start in left. Dalton Varsho in center. George Springer, after a DH day and an off day, is back out in right field. Addison Barger moving from right field to third base. Bichette, Jimenez, and Guerrero around the infield. And Tyler Heineman making his 9th start behind the plate. He has contributed on both sides, offensively and defensively, for the Blue Jays this season.
Here's the #2 hitter for the Guardians, Nolan Jones. We talked about him a bit last night, acquired in a deal from Colorado in spring training a couple of years ago. One of the best rookies in the National League. Former 2nd-round pick. Has power, but there is swing and a miss in his game as well. big tall guy, 6'5", and he even looks a little bit taller than that as he stands in the box.
2 off-speed pitches to start. Goes slider, splitter.
You like a first pitch slider to a left-handed batter? They're not looking for that at all.
Certainly not. Almost a little bit of a backdoor pitch.
Just missed low.
Don't expect it a whole lot from Kevin. The sliders to the lefties, that's different, but of course he's always looking for something new.
They play Jones to pull on the infield. A ball and 2 strikes the count. And the fastball freezes him. 96 at the knees, 2 down.
Good indication is a good fastball from Kevin Gausman here early to the first 2 batters. He started off speed and really lulled Jones a little bit with the slower pitches, and then he just pounds 96 in there on the inside third.
So good command early, good velocity early. Good signs early for Kevin Gausman. Here's Carlos Santana. That's a little bit up and away for ball 1. Santana 2 for 4 with a home run in last night's game. He's got a .974 career OPS here with the Rogers Center, and I don't doubt that one bit.
Yeah, it feels like it, doesn't it?
Yep.
Matches the eye test.
There's a strike, 1-1.
Thought Kevin in that inning when he struggled in New York, a lot of things were missing. Arm side, way to the lefties, into the righties, and then he'd overcompensate and he'd yank it the other way. So that's when you know a pitcher's delivery and release point is really out of whack. Much more in tune here early.
And it gets a call at the bottom of the zone there. Looked like it might have been low, but it's 1-2 as Santana has a question or two for the home plate umpire Adam Beck. Splitter down, 2-2. Santana, in addition to the power that he has, also possesses a very good eye. He's not going to help you out very much, but maybe Gausman can get him to go fishing if he tries another splitter. Fastball foul back.
Or even get him out with the splitter. Pretty good fastball hitter. So even if it's a splitter at the bottom of the zone, in the zone, you can still get him out in the zone with a good splitter down there.
Again, the 2-2, and that fastball's high, a full count.
Heineman really presents that target up and in. He wanted that ball on the inside a little bit more, and Kevin allowed it to sneak back out over.
And he loses him. A 2-out walk for Santana here in the first. So that'll bring Kyle Manzardo to the plate, the designated hitter for the Guardians again today.
You ever want to say no harm done? You don't want to walk people in the first inning, but that one does not bother me a whole lot. I like this matchup a little bit better rather than Santana. Kevin was all around the zone.
Splitter grounded foul, and it's 0-1 on Manzardo, hitting just .214, but he does have power. 8 home runs already this year.
Get a younger hitter at the plate, though, maybe a little bit more susceptible to that splitter. Anytime you're dealing with Carlos Santana, that is a good veteran hitter that's been around a long time, and he is very comfortable in this ballpark at first base, too.
Still pretty playful for an older guy. Getting over there with Guerrero at first. I've seen those two chatting before the games. When the players run from their respective foul lines, sometimes they'll meet out behind second base and have a chat. You can see this has kind of a Yandy Diaz feel to it. Whenever the Blue Jays play the Rays, this kind of stuff goes on between Guerrero and Diaz.
I thought you said they spoke to each other earlier. Carrying on a full conversation.
There's always more to talk about around first base when Vladdy's there. 0-2 the count. And another splitter pulled foul. Santana at first, 2 down. We're just nicely underway here in the top of the first at the Rogers Center. And a swing and a miss. Got him to chase that splitter down and away, and a couple of strikeouts in the first inning for Kevin Gausman. Looking good in the early going here at the ballpark. All have one thing in common. They have come from behind to win all 3 of those games. Let's see if the Blue Jays might be able to get out early here today against Cleveland. A look at the lineup includes George Springer, who is walking with the best of them right now. He's got the 5th highest walk rate in the American League this season. He also homered last night in addition to a couple of walks. Addison Barger's in again. Nathan Lucas had that big hit in the 8th inning. He is in again as well, and they will see some high-octane fastballs from Gavin Williams.
2-2, that ERA over 5. He had a rough one last time out as well, much like Kevin Gausman did, just 2 innings against the Minnesota Twins. He had a 45-pitch second inning that chased him from the game, and he had pitched well into the 7th inning in his previous 2 starts, but a real setback there. Edward Julian teed off in the first pitch of the game, a fastball.
Bo Bichette teeing off on the first pitch of the game, and there it is. His first home run of the season. He's been waiting for it for a while. He might just have cracked a smile around second base as Bo Bichette is on the board with his first homer of the season. 2 starts in a row. Gavin Williams gives up a home run on the first pitch he throws.
Unbelievable, and I think Bo Bichette went up there with a game plan. This was not to inside out anything and hit a base hit to right field. He is looking in there for the high velocity fastball. He got it, and he got the bat head out to do damage.
And they're as happy for him as anybody. This is a guy used to hitting home runs, and it took a while, but he didn't wait long here today.
You certainly see the difference in Bo's swing. He's getting pounded fastballs inside a lot, but when he's looking to do damage, that's what the swing looks like. Look for it, get it, let it rip.
And you're in favor of him taking his best shot every time he swings the bat, right?
I do. I know he's got a good 2-strike approach, but when you're as good a hitter and as talented as he is, I'd rather see that swing 3 times.
You know, one other thing about the home run, remember, Bo was injured a lot last year, but even when he was playing at times, the power stroke wasn't there. He only hit 4. That's his first home run since May the 27th of last year. And again, missed a lot of time with injuries, but it's in and about 70 games, I think, since he has homered. And you know, this is a guy you kind of assume is going to hit 20 in a season, so it's got to feel great for him to get that first one on the board. Fouled off by Guerrero, 3-2.
I think Bo has the ability to kind of be the type of hitter he wants, and if he wants to be this type of hitter that can hit 20-25 home runs, I think he can do it. Now, you may sacrifice a little batting average and some of those opposite field hits, but I like this guy right here because of what he's capable of. If you need a base hit to right field with 2 outs and a runner on second, he can do that. He can manipulate his swing.
A full count on Guerrero. How about one last note on this home run? It's the first Blue Jay home run, Joe, in the first inning of a game this year.
They need the 3 big boys up top, and that's how you do it right there. And you see how Bo, he can just, he creates so much torque, gets that bat through the zone, but the body just stops and the barrel comes flying through.
That tells you all you need to know right there. Strike 3 called. A breaking ball down at the knees to get Guerrero.
Well, the always entertaining Guerrero, he knew that he buckled a bit on this breaking ball. He knew it fooled him, and he also knew that it caught the bottom of the zone, and Vladdy just keeps on running back to the dugout.
Yeah, never dropped the bat, started the right turn. He must have been thinking 98, and he got 88. 1-0 on the Bichette home run. Here's Anthony Santander with a check swing foul off.
Gavin Williams will have that mid upper 90s fastball, averaging close to 97 with it. A lot of fastballs and sweepers like we saw to Vladdy right there to the right-handers, and more of the curveballs to the left-handers.
Into right field, a base hit. Santander turns around 98, and he's got a single.
Good indication there from Santander. We've seen him get pounded with a lot of fastballs up in the zone and in. This one leaks back out over the plate, but he certainly gets the barrel to it and hits it hard into right field.
Now George Springer. A home run last night, 2 walks, also reached on catcher's interference. And you can see the numbers, the average, the OPS. 11 walks in his last 12 games. He is seeing the ball and has been seeing the ball very well all season. High drive to right. Hit well. And it's off the wall. Noel could not come up with it. Santander around to third on a double by Springer.
George looks so comfortable at the plate. He's got a rather simple swing, little leg kick, and then just comes through. Noel was at the wall. He was there to catch it. He just missed the baseball. Probably feeling that wall a little bit too soon. Not a whole lot of room between the line there. He's getting into the corner. He just came up empty.
And the Guardians will bring the infield in. Second and third, 1 out, and a big opportunity here for Dalton Varsho. That one just off the outside corner. An 82-mile-an-hour curveball. Varsho 3 for 10 with a couple of home runs since coming off the IL. And the count now in his favor at 2-0. Gausman waiting. They've given him the lead, and it may be more than just the one. Fouled off by Varsho, 2-1. The Blue Jays coming into the game today had scored 10 runs in the first inning of their 32 ball games. They've got one here today. Wouldn't a nice crooked number be?
I always like to score first,
yeah,
but keep them coming,
especially early in the game. You know, we've talked about how the starting pitchers have had so little margin for error because there have been so many games scoreless after 3, scoreless after 4, scoreless after 5. So maybe they can put up a nice crooked number here this afternoon. Foul back, full count. Addison Barger next.
Mixed in a couple breaking balls, but I think he wants to get Dalton out with the fastball in, up and in.
Well, went back to the breaking ball, got him to chase down for out number 2.
That is a heck of a pitch by Gavin Williams. When you've got that high velocity and then you snap off that curveball like that, when that's coming out of his hand, you're seeing what could be a fastball that's 97, 98, and it just went straight down.
So 2 down now, and it's up to Barger. Addison getting the start at third base today, and he'll take a curveball for a strike. Barger is getting some run right now. This is his 4th consecutive start. The Blue Jays talk about the process and under the hood seeing some good things. It hasn't manifested itself in hits yet. A lot of hard contact, and you know it's in there. Everybody saw it in the spring. Everybody sees the tools, and they're hoping if they give him some run, it'll all come to the surface.
He knows he's getting an opportunity, and that's good for him or any young player. But now you want to perform. You just don't want to put too much pressure on yourself to do that. But the tools are certainly there.
Swing and a miss on a fastball up, and that will end the inning. So the Blue Jays will settle for the one, but what a good one it was. Bo Bichette on the board with his first home run of the season. And at the end of an inning, the Blue Jays have the lead.
Welcome back. The Blue Jays have been walking a fairly thin line with their pitching depth all season, and they took some steps to address that here this weekend with multiple reports suggesting that they have signed both Jose Urena and Spencer Turnbull to major league deals pending physicals. Now, these are a pair of veteran righties, ground ball specialists. As you can see, Urena was just pitching with the New York Mets recently before he was designated for assignment, so he should be ready to join the Blue Jays fairly immediately. You'll see 96, 97 mile per hour fastballs from him, but obviously he specializes in keeping the ball on the ground, as does Turnbull. You won't see 96, 97 from him, but you will see 6 different pitches that he can locate rather effectively. He's somebody who really takes advantage of an effect called seam-shifted wake, in which many of his pitches spin the same way on the same axis, look the same to the hitter out of his hand, but then feature very late movement as they get to the plate, thanks to the way that the air imparts movement on the ball, catching the seams. That's how he gets so many ground balls, guys.
Arden, thank you. So again, both of those signings, and Arden and Shai and Ben Nicholson-Smith, all those guys were all over it today. They are pending a physical. The team cannot comment until things are official, so there were a lot of hypothetical, theoretical conversations going on before the game today. A ball and a strike on John Kenzie Noel. Both Urena and Turnbull have both started and relieved. As Arden said, Urena may be closer because he has been pitching, and Turnbull may have been throwing, but he has not been with an organization. He's one guy that kind of all through February and March, as Noel skies one down the right field line, and no play here. He was a guy, if you read baseball articles in the offseason, it's like, why has nobody signed this guy? Why has nobody picked this guy up? So the Blue Jays go out and get a couple of guys, reportedly, who have major league experience, who can give them length. Does one become the 5th starter or a spot starter? We'll have to wait and see. But certainly it gives them a couple of options, Joe, and they need some depth. They need more options.
You always need that depth, and you need it from, oftentimes it's going to come from that players that have been let go from an organization, maybe somebody coming back from an injury. And Turnbull's obviously an intriguing name. He's certainly had some success with Detroit in past years.
And part of this, of course, Max Scherzer being on the IL, that has kind of increased the urgency for more options. Right now, Eric Lauer would appear to be that guy in that spot. Although, I'll tell you right after this pitch. There's strike 3 called as Gausman freezes Noel for his 3rd strikeout already. So John Schneider was asked, are you ready to announce your pitching plans for Anaheim Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? And interestingly, John Schneider said no. And John Schneider's always willing to talk about everything. So again, does that mean that an Urena figures it? We don't know. But right now, first they've got to get the physicals done and then see what happens after that. Here's Daniel Schneemann getting a start at second base. You could classify Schneemann as an overachiever, at least in this sense. He was a 33rd round pick in 2018. He was pick number 1003 that year in the draft. And a small percentage of the 1,002 ahead of him made it to the big leagues. So good for him.
Absolutely.
Sounds like a Kevin Pillar kind of thing.
For sure, and filling in anywhere they need him and getting the start at second base today. Of course, Andres Jimenez was with Cleveland last year at second base, so it's been him and Gabriel Arias filling in that role.
Sends one to left. Lucas back and making it look easy on the warning track. 2 down as we check in with Arden again.
Just to follow up on Turnbull's timing, he has not been throwing regularly. He finished 2024 on the IL with a lat strain. He did throw a showcase for teams towards the end of March, but he's going to need some time to build up, so you could see him go out on optional assignment to the minors where he would build up the workload and volume before joining the Blue Jays sometime in the medium term.
All right, Arden, thank you. Here's Will Wilson. So that's weeks. That's conservatively probably 4 weeks. Urania again would be closer if they decide. If they are both signed to major league contracts, they both have to go on the 40-man roster. So that would require a little bit of maneuvering. That is a good splitter right there from Gausman. He's out in front 0-2.
There's that grip. And good location. Looks like a strike all the way and just dives down. And for the righties, you want to kind of keep it away from right-handed batters. If that goes down and in, that's a bit of a danger zone because a right-hand hitter might be out front, and that's right to their barrel, down and in.
Wilson, 26 years of age. Less than 2 weeks in the big leagues. Was putting up some very good numbers at AAA when he was called up on the 22nd of April. Seen a lot of 96s so far early today, and as you said, always a good sign for Kevin.
So far so good, but that's why I said inning number 1, inning number 2, nice to keep an eye here, but it's not over yet. Like, you have to keep watching Kevin Gausman because we know it was the 3rd inning in New York when all of the trouble crept up. So can he keep his delivery and be in sync with that delivery as he continues through the ballgame? That's what I'm looking more for, the long haul here in this start, and I'm sure Pete Walker will be watching the same thing.
And it was such a strange one. In his first 5 starts, he walked 6 guys total, and then walked 5 in that 1 inning alone, the 3rd inning at Yankee Stadium. Just something we don't see from Gausman. 2-2.
Yeah, the walks have not been the issue this year for Kevin. It's the strikeouts that have been down again for the 2nd year in a row. Now we know he started the season with that shoulder issue last year, so maybe the stuff just wasn't as sharp throughout the course of the season, but he did have a few good starts there in a row, 3 in a row with 6+ strikeouts, but it's been up and down for sure.
Got him. Swing and a miss and a good split. 2 scoreless innings for Gausman with 4 strikeouts.
Echo Beach, far away in time. Echo Beach.
Well, when you're in Nathan Lucas's situation, Joe, you might play 4 or 5 times a week. You might play once a week. You never know. You got to stay ready. He came into the game as a pinch hitter in the 6th, struck out, but then in the 8th came up with the biggest hit of the ballgame.
He did it again, and he's got a very simple swing, not a whole lot of movement, and that's a great thing for a guy that plays part-time. He can sit on that bench for a while, get inserted into the lineup, play for a couple of days, and perform. He stayed on that changeup. Very difficult to do right there as a part-time player, to stay on that changeup, stay through it, and still drive it to the outfield. A nice piece of hitting, and he's earned himself some more playing time.
Batting 7th and in left field this afternoon. He's 8 for his last 22 over a 10-game stretch. And John Schneider, when he was asked about him before the game today, he said one of the things they consider when they're making moves, because remember, Davis Schneider went to Buffalo, Will Wagner went to Buffalo. One of the things they consider, and this was according to Schneider before the game, is who can play well when they are not playing consistently. And I think Lucas has shown them that in his time with the team the last couple of years, because especially 2 years ago, he was with the club for a good chunk of the season, didn't play all that much, but just gave them good quality at-bats when he got his opportunity.
The biggest challenge is to stay on the fastball. That's what you have to do. When you're a part-time player, you can't try to cover everything. And that's what I thought was so impressive about that base hit last night, staying on that changeup.
And it's funny, if you're a younger player, a quote-unquote prospect, they don't want you sitting on the bench up here. Lucas is a little bit older. He's 30 years old, and that can work against you, but maybe it's working for him in that they have kept him here. Instead of saying, well, we don't want him to only play once or twice a week, they trust him to play well. The younger guys go down to Buffalo, and we'll see what happens with Alan Roden. He's not getting quite as much playing time right now, but you know, Nathan Lucas again making the most of his chances, getting a little more playing time, and here drawing a walk.
And that's another attribute that Nathan has, pretty good knowledge of the strike zone. That's a great plate appearance.
Now Tyler Heineman. Alejandro Kirk catching the last 4 consecutively. Heineman in there this afternoon and hitting .448. 99 from Williams, and it catches the inside corner. According to the Guardian's notes, there are only 3 starting pitchers in the American League who throw their 4-seam fastballs harder than Gavin Williams. That one is 98.
And a lot of them are right there.
Yeah.
Just above the zone.
Hunter Brown, Jose Soriano, and Tarek Skubal. One guy won a Cy Young last year. One guy might win it this year. And I think the Blue Jays are going to see Soriano this week in Anaheim. He's got a big arm, too.
Well, in that last start, Minnesota jumped on his fastball early, as we talked about Julian's leadoff home run, but they kept on him quickly, and that's when he had to go to his secondary pitches, so he had to adjust. But you have to be able to land those off-speed pitches like his sweeper and curveball we've seen for the fastball to play, and he was just scattering it all over the place, and that's when a pitcher's in trouble.
Down the line, foul, 1-2. Heineman will ask for time.
It's one thing to have the velocity he has, but he can really spin the baseball as well. Just got to put the package together.
And fouled straight back. Still 1-2, and again 99.
6'6", 250 pounds. That's a big man out on the mound, coming down that mound right at you. And what Stephen Vogt mentioned today, when he's at his best, he has to be fast in his delivery. He has to really get down the mound, and that's a lot to do about being in sync and your timing as a pitcher. But that's a lot coming at you.
Runner goes. Swing and a miss by Heineman. The throw down is in time. Lucas is hanging around on the bag to see if they challenge. Don't know if the Blue Jays were guessing breaking ball there and thought it would be a good pitch to run on, but no challenge coming. Lucas is out.
Well, they got the breaking ball, and it was a good pitch to run on, but Austin Hedges did an excellent job. And Dan, you talked about Austin Hedges playing in this league for a long time, and it's because of the work he does behind the plate, receiving pitches, blocking, handling a pitching staff, and he's got a very quick release and a pretty accurate throw down to second base.
Yeah, when you've got 11 years in the big leagues and you're a 186 career hitter, you must be a very good defensive catcher.
That's where he's making his living, right there. And you're playing for an organization that's pitching rich. They stress pitching and defense.
A nice swing there by Andres Jimenez, who had a couple of hits last night, and he's got a 2-out base hit here in the bottom of the second.
Well, normally it would not work like this. When you're playing against your former team, you'd be highly motivated and maybe try to do a whole lot. But Andres Jimenez these last couple of days has looked much quieter at the plate. And what I mean by quiet is that nice little leg kick, and he stops and allows the body and the bat to come on through. Another nice swing.
And he, of course, is a threat to go as Bo Bichette steps in. Bichette's first home run of the season to lead off the bottom of the first. Ball 1. Mark Budzinski giving Andres Jimenez a little information on Gavin Williams' time to the plate.
Gavin Williams does a nice job holding runners. That's 3 for 3 now, caught stealing this year, and 4 for 4 last year.
Jimenez is going to try it, and he is in there safely. And for Andres Jimenez, that's his 9th steal in 10 tries. And he and Hedges, you could see, remember, former teammates, obviously buddies, and some smiles being exchanged.
Well, this is next level stuff when you get a guy like Jimenez running, and he got a good jump on the pitcher and on Hedges. Another pretty good throw by Hedges, but Andres just beats it.
So he's put himself in scoring position as Bichette takes one just up and away, and it is 3-0 with the base open. Guerrero on deck. You know, Bo's got the green light if he wants it. Not close. Ball 4. So now Vladdy, and remember, after a battle with some fastballs, Williams kind of crossed him up, got a breaking ball in there at the knees to strike him out.
Did see a lot of fastballs. If I'm Vladdy, I'm looking for that 96, 97 this whole at bat. Take it.
Back to back with the sweeper. This one swung on and missed. 1-1. A 3-pitch guy, but basically fastball sweeper to the righties, fastball curve to the lefties. You can kind of lock in on 2 pitches depending on what side you're on. Fastball away. Boy, even by his standards, his velocity is peak here this afternoon. But the Blue Jays have had some good swings off him. Terrific pitch there, and that's 100 on the outside corner. What are you going to do with that?
Not sure Vladdy necessarily disagreed with the call. He had a pretty good look at it, and it had the plate, but it might have just been a little bit of a, yeah, maybe he didn't like it. Triple digits on the outside edge is pretty tough to hit.
Couple of looks back at Jimenez, and the 2-2 breaking ball in the dirt. A full count now, which will give both Jimenez and Bichette a running start.
Plus Vladdy here after this pitch, he's reminding himself he's going to smack his front hip, saying stay back, don't be jumping out at that breaking pitch, because that's the one that's gotten him.
A step off to force Jimenez back to the bag.
You certainly don't want to stay back too much when a guy's throwing 100, but what he's trying to do is make sure he allows his body to move efficiently to get that bat hit through the zone.
There go the runners, and it is swung on and missed. This time he got him with a high fastball. That is 5 strikeouts through 2 for Williams. The Blue Jays have had their chances, but they've now left 4 men on through 2 and still lead 1-0.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Now this season we have many theme days to look forward to, but I don't know, this one today might take the cake. I haven't seen kids so excited about one. It's Minecraft Day in celebration on one of the best video games of all time, and of course the movie, so you know that there's a lot of adventurous things happening around the ballpark. And of course fans that came here early today went home with this very Minecraft Jays hat right here. Pretty sweet. Now according to the kids here, I've got a lot to learn about Minecraft. Like apparently chicken jockey isn't a dance. It's a baby zombie riding a chicken, which is wild to me. Love that. And apparently Jack Black says it, well, it's game over. So like I said, lots to learn from the experts here, which I'm going to do. But Dan, I'll throw it back to you.
All right, Emily, thank you. Yeah, the kids are the experts. I'm trying to learn, trying to keep up with my 6-year-old. There's always something new. I was told the cupcakes in the media room today are creeper cupcakes. I don't know what that means.
I need to go hang out with Emily for
Yeah.
and learn a bit too.
There's a lot to learn, but it's popular. People were lined up early, and look around this ballpark, Joe. It's a sellout here today, and I'm sure a lot of kids excited to go home with a Minecraft hat here today, in addition to watching a ball game. This one is fouled out of play, and quickly a couple of strikes on Brian Rocchio, the Cleveland shortstop. Blue Jays winners of 3 in a row. They're back to the 500 mark at 16-16. I mean, that's where you want to throw that pitch 0-2, right?
Yeah, nothing wrong with that 0-2. You're not going to get hurt. You try to get the swing, and if not, you're still in a really good spot if you're Kevin. And now you can go back either way. You can come back with a splitter, double up on it, or come back with a fastball. Really, you're the aggressor now, and you're in this part of the count.
Sharply hit out to Jimenez. It staggers him, but he makes the play.
That was very hard hit at Jimenez, and Andres just backs up a step to try to give himself a bit of a longer hop. You don't have much time to react when it's hit like that, but he backs up just enough to secure it.
One down, and here's Austin Hedges, the catcher. And Gausman will drop a slider in for a strike.
Almost got more curveball action.
Yeah, it was,
the way he's dropping that in there.
Yeah, it was 12-6 kind of.
Very slow. Usually he's more in the 83-84 range with that slider.
There's another one. Got the call there. And he's been tinkering with the slider, with the grip. A little more cutterish is something I heard a couple of weeks ago, but these are not quite cutterish.
And cutterish ones would be harder,
right?
They'd be
Yes.
87, 88.
Yeah.
So very different look. He could be evolving some more.
Yeah.
Jeez.
3 in a row. From 80 to 82 to 84. This is his third pitch, and it's one he's always trying to refine and improve and feel comfortable using in more and more situations.
It gives him something going that way to right-handed batters rather than the four-seam rep and splitter down. But if you're the Cleveland Guardians preparing for this game, you don't have a whole lot of that in the reports, I don't think.
Leadoff man Stephen Kwan on deck. The 2-2. Did not get the call. Just off the corner with the knees. 3-2.
There was a whole lot of emotion in that game at Yankee Stadium too, and you think the Blue Jays had lost a bunch of games in a row. They won the game 1 of the series against the Yankees, but they were going through it a little bit. I think the frustration was boiling over on all fronts.
Popped up shallow right, and Jimenez back to make the catch. 2 down.
Cheer on Canada's team. Rogers, proud owner and fan of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Glad you're with us on this Saturday afternoon. Dan Schulman, Joe Siddall, Arden Zwelling, Emily Agard with us as well. Second of 3 between the Blue Jays and the Guardians. A couple of good buddies there. Max Scherzer, Chris Bassett, talking things over in the Blue Jay dugout.
Think Max has anything to say to Chris after a start? Probably got a notebook full of things.
I mean, every time we take a shot of the dugout and Max Scherzer's in it, there's like a different guy beside him, and there's a different conversation going on. There are no, no lulls. Max loves to talk. Keeps everybody on their toes. Hey, Chris. I don't know what Bowden's telling you, but hey, Chris, over here. And that's how he is. You and I just happen to almost bump into him in the clubhouse. We're talking to him today. That's how he is all the time. What he'd really like to do is just keep progressing. And it sounds like, again, there is cautious optimism that the thumb is heading in the right direction. Again, no timetable, no deadlines, no markers or anything like that. But hopefully, maybe at some point on the West Coast trip, he'll ramp it up again and see the first step obviously would be getting down to Florida and getting a little more serious with the throwing sessions, maybe some live BPs, and eventually getting into some rehab games, hopefully.
Well, Max can certainly provide a lot of value in that dugout with what he's doing right now, and conversations and sharing insights and ideas with other pitchers, and this goes on, I'm sure, in the clubhouse everywhere. But boy, could they ever use him on the mound, being part of the rotation with those guys.
It's a lot of experience right there in that shot.
I'm sure they're talking about Kwon right now just because he's such a tough at-bat for any pitcher. Chris went through it last night with him.
The 2-2 from Gosman. Hit pretty well, but a foul down the left field line.
The frustrating part of a Stephen Kwon for a pitcher is the pitches you're wasting on him.
Yeah.
You'd almost rather him, here's your base hit, but do it first pitch and save me 6 or 7 pitches.
Yeah, the at-bat may just be beginning.
Away, in.
These guys have value beyond their numbers.
Yes.
And the numbers are pretty good for Kwon as well. Taken low, 3-2, and you can see how comfortably he took that. He's just a tough out on a lot of different levels.
Saw it well, identified that it was the splitter early and was able to lay off. Not easy for every hitter.
And a little looper into left for a base hit, his 4th hit in 7 at-bats in this series.
If you're a baseball fan at all, you have to love watching Stephen Kwon. That at bat right there, just fouling tough pitches off, staying alive, and it comes the splitter again, but it's out there. But look how he stays on that baseball, not trying to do too much with it, just wants to make sure he puts it in play hard and shoots it the other way. Doesn't overcommit with his body at all.
And a good mound visit here for Tyler Heineman, because Kevin Gosman just threw 10 pitches
You got
in
it.
that at bat to Stephen Kwon. You may as well use your mound visit. So Heineman giving Gosman a bit of a break here, and they can talk strategy on Nolan Jones.
And you know, psychology wise, you don't go out there and say, hey Kevin, I want to give you a breather right here, because what you're going to do is say, hey, guy on first, 2 outs, let's just go after this guy. Last time we got him with the fastball, and just remind him how we pitched last time. Meanwhile, what you're doing is giving him a breather.
That's a part of catching, right? That
Absolutely.
knowing when you got to go. And
100%. As soon as you said that, I was like, bam, you are right on. That is a good one right there, because you're not a coach, you're not in the dugout, you're on the field of play, and that's an outstanding job by a veteran catcher in Heineman.
Fastball just low for ball 1.
If you go out and tell them you're giving them a breather, it's almost like a negative. You're planting a negative seed in their head. So instead, you go out there and you're positive about everything, how we got him out last time, how we're going to do it. You're a psychologist back there.
Kwon not going, and a good splitter there, swung on and missed. 1-1. That base hit by Kwon, the first hit that the Guardians have had off Gosman. But again, they've worked that pitch count, 57 already. Doing a lot of that, fouling pitches off. Jose Ramirez not in the lineup. Again, the ankle sprain suffered last night, listed as day-to-day. To left field, Lucas is there, and he'll make the catch. And that will retire the side. Still 1-0 Blue Jays.
Wednesday night, Anthony Santander hit the biggest home run of his brief Blue Jays tenure. A 3-run shot to complete a 6-run comeback against the Red Sox. But right before that plate appearance, here's assistant hitting coach Lou Iannotti, who pulled Santander aside for a quick refresher about mindset. By that point, Santander's plan, his approach, those are crystallized. But Iannotti took the opportunity to remind Santander about all the work he'd been putting in on that plan and approach, on his swing, on how extensively he'd been preparing for each game, and how all that work ought to give him the ultimate confidence to go to the plate, trusting himself, feeling free, and ready to get his best swing off when he sees his pitch. Sure enough, that is what happened, and Iannotti laughed with Santander afterwards about how good it feels when all that work pays off. Iannotti told me it's all related to confidence, trusting your preparation. He put himself in that position by preparing extensively to have success in that moment, Dan.
Arden, thank you. So, Joe, you catchers aren't the only psychologists.
They're everywhere,
I guess, right? Pete Walker's a psychologist. The hitting coaches are psychologists.
Well, your mindset is so important, and especially when you talk about this side of the ball with hitters, because because there's just so much failure in this game. And then you're a superstar player, signs a big contract with a new team, and you're having a tough first month. Put all that together, and yes, you have to try to continue to find those positives to get him back on track.
Santander with a base hit to right field, his first time up today. He'll be followed by Springer and Varsho here in the bottom of the third. That is fair down the right field line. Santander will make the turn on his way to second and in there with a double.
Well, he pulled this one as well, much like his first base hit to right field, and this one must have just been on the line or barely inside it. First base umpire all over it. Scott Barry in great position to make that call.
Just a couple of stitches may have grabbed that line, but that's enough. A leadoff double. And now here's Springer, who doubled himself back in the first. So, you know, Joe, how we talk about some guys whose velocity plays up. Are there some guys whose velocity plays down? And the reason I ask you that is because Gavin Williams has been hit pretty hard this year. He's getting hit pretty hard today. And he has reached 100 and sat at like 97, 98. The Blue Jays already have 5 hits, 3 extra base hits. Now they got 6 hits. As Santander will reverse course and go to third on the single by Springer. Do you think maybe they see the ball very well out of his hand for whatever reason?
I do think there's something to that. He is a big guy. It's high velocity. He gets good extension down the mound. So all of those things equal, it should be a tough fastball, but could be his delivery, could be the release point, the arm angle, whatever the case may be. But if hitters are seeing it well, it can almost be perceived as less than that 96, 97 that we're seeing, or even triple digits.
So Springer 2 for 2. They're in on the corners for the Guardians. For Dalton Varsho. It was interesting. Santander went through a lot in a fraction of a second out there at second base. The first thing he had to do was duck.
Yeah.
The second thing he had to do was get back in case it was caught. And then the third thing he did was go to third base.
And that's the right thing to do. You have to be sure, make sure it's through, and then just take the 90 feet. But I thought George hitting that curveball down in the zone was very impressive. Hit a fastball his first time up for the double to right field. He may have gone up looking for spin, but he was right on it.
Dalton Varsho struck out with a couple of men on back in the first. That looked like a cutter.
Interesting. Not many of those.
That's not a pitch he throws very often at all.
Maybe that's why sometimes you see that 0.5% of a pitch that you use. He might break it out on a very rare occasion.
And now he's fallen behind Varsho 3-0. Barger on deck. Nobody out here in the bottom of the third. He'll take it at the belt. 3-1. That's not Dalton Varsho's favorite pitch, and I'm not talking about the count. That fastball up, right? He'd rather get Williams to bring the ball down.
And when you're in a favorable count, you can be specific with your location too.
Foul back. 3-2.
More like there. Out over a little bit.
And another cutter.
Yeah. And this could be a reaction to what you just talked about. If they're seeing the fastball, it's not playing up, try something a little different, try to get out of their hands a little more.
And he got him. He strikes him out on a breaking ball down for the second time today. And you can see Varsho's frustration on his way back to the dugout.
Well, that's a clear game plan we're seeing against Varsho, is the fastball up in the zone and then you spin it down, and especially if you can get him to 2 strikes. As a hitter, you're gearing up a bit for the heater, and then he's committing to the curveball.
And still frustrated in the dugout. Here's Addison Barger. He struck out in the first. It's Varsho and Barger who have come up in real big RBI opportunities, but Williams has made some of his best pitches. He has struck out Varsho twice. He struck out Barger to end the bottom of the first. Williams actually has 6 strikeouts already through 2 1/3. Outside, a ball and a strike.
Give a lot of credit to Austin Hedges again back behind the plate, making these calls for Williams and controlling how he's calling this game, keeping these Blue Jays hitters off balance.
2-1. Santander at third, Springer at first. 1 out now. Bounced foul, 2-2.
I feel like after all of these off-speed pitches, the breaking balls, that you might try to elevate that fastball again. That's what he got on Addison on his last at bat.
He did elevate it. Barger wouldn't chase it, and it's 3-2. Lucas on deck. And ball 4 to load the bases for Nathan Lucas. That's the 3rd walk given up by Williams. So 6 hits, including 2 doubles and a homer, 3 walks, but only 1 run so far. A visit now for Williams.
Cleveland's bullpen is in better shape today than it was last night, so this is where you really want to finish this starting pitcher off and add on these runs. This, especially as a team, you don't want to get to that 5th, 6th inning trailing. Add on here and be the aggressor and control your bullpen the way you want to.
Carl Willis, who's been a big league pitching coach for a long time, on the mound talking with Hedges and Williams. The Blue Jays are threatening again. Santander's at third, Springer's at second, Barger's at first. Lucas walked his first time up. Big hole between third and short on the left side of the infield. Rocchio, the shortstop, playing Lucas up the middle. Down and in, ball 1. A swing and a miss tied him up with 98, 1-1. Another good fastball. I mean, just tremendous velocity in this outing from Williams.
And it's beaten him. So I'm just wondering, if I'm Austin Hedges back there, do you even try to get him to chase the breaking ball? And it's a challenge for a hitter when you see the velocity get the spin down, but you might just try to climb that ladder and go higher.
Bounced it in, overthrew that sweeper, tried to make it his best one of the day, and it's 2-2.
And a great block too by Hedges, keeping those runners there. And this is the trust you have to have in your catcher. You know that if you bounce it, he's got you, and he did. Kept it right in front.
So now 2-2 on Lucas. That one will bounce away, but not far enough. Santander retreats, but now it's 3-2 on Lucas.
I'm really surprised that they went to that twice after he'd been beating him with the fastball. Trying to get him to chase, obviously, much like the way they got Varsho. But Nathan not biting. Those are too far down.
Got to go back to the fastball now.
I mean, I thought they would have already, for sure. I would here for sure now. You have to.
Back 99, and how do you get to 99 up with the letters like that?
And good on Nathan there. You have to be thinking like we're thinking. I'm getting 99. I'm getting the fastball here. Be ready. And if he spins a really good pitch and you strike out, you have to tip your hat sometimes, but you can't miss the fastball.
Boy, it feels like they've had Williams on the ropes from the moment this game began. Again, the 3-2. It is ball 4. No swing, says CB Buckner down at third, and the walk will force in a run.
Nathan Lucas has found himself in some big situations these last few days, and what a plate appearance there to draw that walk and cash in another run for the Blue Jays. Just able to hold up.
That's got to be a very satisfying walk, I would think.
Absolutely.
So it is 2-0. They remain loaded. And here's Tyler Heineman. He struck out in his first at bat. The Guardians in a stretch of 13 games in 13 days. They've had rain delays. They've had a doubleheader. Paints the corner there. Stephen Devote was talking about it before the game. Their pitching staff has been pushed. He was down a couple of key relievers in last night's game, and it looks like just now somebody is getting up in the bullpen for the first time today for Cleveland. The 0-2. And a swing and a miss. Boy, a huge breaking ball right there. That might have been the curveball, not the sweeper. And he strikes out Heineman for out number 2.
Well, that's what he was trying to do to Nathan Lucas, but he just could not get it into a spot where Nathan would commit, but he's able to get Heineman. And Williams trying still to limit the damage this inning.
Left-hander Colby Allard just starting to throw. A run in, the bases loaded, 2 outs for Andres Jimenez, who had a base hit into right field his first time up. And it's popped up back of third. Wilson drifting back will make the catch, and that will end the inning. The Blue Jays get 1. It started off with an Anthony Santander double down the right field line, eventually coming in to score on a bases loaded walk, and it is 2-0.
Download the app for the latest odds on today's baseball games and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
The Blue Jays trying to make it 2 in a row over the Cleveland Guardians. They're up 2-0 going to the top of the 4th inning. It'll be the 3-4-5 hitters for Cleveland coming up against Kevin Gausman, beginning with Carlos Santana, who walked in the first and looks at a first pitch strike here. Out infielders playing him to pull, outfielders straight away. And perfect location there. 0-2. Line to deep center. is Varsho. Turned one way, turned back the other way. Gosman smiling, and that's out number one.
Sometimes that ball can knuckle off the bat, and I wonder if Dalton went the one way, and maybe the ball just came back a little bit, because it did look like Santana squared it up pretty good.
Now Kyle Manzardo, who struck out in the first. One of 4 strikeouts that Gosman has so far this afternoon. Swings through a fastball, 0-1.
Hasn't had a lot of swings and misses with that fastball, but it's been a pretty good pitch for him today. A lot like that. A lot of those foul balls, guys getting to it, not necessarily squaring it up, but also not getting the swings and misses.
Bit of a milestone start here for Kevin Gosman today, at least in a Blue Jay sense. This is his 100th start as a Blue Jay. He's in year 4 of his 5-year contract that he signed prior to the 2022 season. And he strikes out Manzardo for the second time. And I think everybody within the organization would tell you they are extremely pleased that they signed Kevin Gosman to a deal. Lowest ERA all-time Blue Jay starters, minimum 100 games started, 351, and in some pretty impressive Blue Jay company.
Yeah, some very good company right there. Holiday, Key, and Steve. And Kevin is certainly one of those Blue Jays starters we'll remember for years to come. Quite the volume the other guys have, but very effective. What a very, very good contract this has been for the Blue Jays.
By the way, there have been 20 Blue Jay pitchers who have started 100 or more games for this franchise. And he's got the 4th best ERA among them. John Kenzie Noel swings through a fastball, and it's 1-1. They're pretty happy with that Jose Barrios deal and extension as well. Looking at him in the dugout.
They built this rotation around consistent guys with good workloads, durable. Gosman, Jose Barrios when he's extended, Chris Bassett when he was brought in. Very reliable starting pitchers.
Barrios has made 115 starts as a Blue Jay. He came in a trade midway through the 2021 season. Gosman signed before 2022, so Barrios has been a Blue Jay a little bit longer than Gosman has. Chris Bassett came the next year. This is year 3 for Bassett. The 2-2. Bounce to the right side. What a stop by Guerrero, and he feeds Gosman for the out. Man, oh man. Might have been an easier play for Andres Jimenez, but Vladdy went for it, Joe, and he made the play.
Ranging to his right. He knows where his second baseman is, but look how far off the line he is. The diving grab and a perfect throw. Kevin, get out of there safely, please.
Big game coming up in the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. Game 7 between the Avs and the Stars. The winner moving on to the second round. Coverage starts at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Sportsnet. Here 2-0 Blue Jays, bottom 4 and top of the order. Bo Bichette, who homered on a first pitch fastball in the first, got a first pitch sweeper here in the 4th. Bichette also walked in the 2nd, so he's been on base twice.
Hasn't gotten any more fastballs on the inner part of the plate.
Went after that sweeper down and away, and it's 0-2. Colby Allard was up in the Cleveland pen in the 3rd. He is not throwing as the bottom of the 4th begins. And that gets to the backstop, and Bichette is on his way to first, and he'll be safe. So it will be a strikeout and a wild pitch to allow Bichette to reach.
This is a nightmare for a catcher. You never want to have a hitter struck out and not block the baseball. And we were speaking highly of Austin Hedges and his work behind the plate earlier, but no intent at all to go block that baseball. Tries to pick it cleanly, and if you come up empty, that's the result you get. The Blue Jays will take it.
Now Guerrero, who has struck out in each of his 2 at-bats against Williams, looking on a breaking ball, swinging at a fastball.
Here's Hedges. This is a timing pickoff, and the pitcher will come set, and he'll keep his eyes on the catcher. Watch him drop his glove. That alerts the pitcher to spin and fire.
And Joe, the Guardians are challenging.
Oh.
Cleveland is challenging the save.
And they're going to win it.
Ooh.
This is going to get overturned.
Looked like Bo may have just slipped a bit in getting back, and it cost him. As a hum comes across the crowd at the Rogers Center.
They all just saw it on the scoreboard out in center field. I wouldn't think this one takes too long.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is out. Cleveland retains its challenge.
So Bichette is picked off, and the Blue Jays lose a base runner.
Gavin Williams has a very quick move, and part of it can be the help of the catcher there, that timing move dropping the catcher's mitt, but he picked off 3 runners last year, so he does an excellent job holding runners. They got a bit of a gift on the strikeout, but they gave it right back.
The 1-0 to Guerrero. On the corner, 1-1. The Blue Jays have sent, not counting Guerrero, 19 men to the plate. 11 of them have reached base, either by hit, walk, or that wild pitch on the Bichette strikeout. Yet it's a little bit too close for comfort, yes. I would think, if you're John Schneider. He would love to see more on the board, considering how many opportunities they've had. Popped up shallow right center, and that's going to drop. A bloop single for Guerrero.
Well, Nolan Jones getting the start in center this afternoon, but John Kenzie Noel, Ian Wright. And Jones has shifted to right center a little bit, but it looked like he may have gone back a step to begin with, and Noel just can't get there.
So now Guerrero's at first with 1 out, and here's Santander, who's 2 for 2 already off Williams, a single and a double. I think Williams went back to the cutter there and was fortunate to get it in just enough.
Boy, we have seen Anthony do that on some pitches inside. Gets the bat head out and spins on him.
Curveball outside to even it up. One and 2 now on Santander. I mean, Williams has been in a spot the entire game. The leadoff man has reached in all 4 innings. He's, you know, you talk about traffic. It's been constant for him. That's got to be a little bit more stressful, a little bit more tiring, right?
Yeah, those 83 pitches probably feel like 103.
Good take there, 2 and 2.
Now maybe the consolation for Stephen Vogt is that he only threw 61 pitches in that last start because he was chased so early.
2-2, and a fastball pop back foul out of play. At first after the bloop single, one out here in the bottom of the fourth. He and Carlos Santana continuing this day-long interaction they've had. I mean, when you're buddies with a guy and you're the first baseman and he's the first baseman, you got twice as many opportunities.
And you're both getting on base a little bit.
And now a full count on Santander.
Good look there from Santander. We saw him earlier in the season chasing those sorts of pitches, those breaking pitches later in the count. Hopefully that's a good indication that he's seeing it a little bit better.
And he'll take a walk. Good at bat there by Santander. He's on base for the third time, and again the Blue Jays are threatening. Here comes George Springer, who's having a good day today, and Joe had a very good night last night.
Big home run here, and it looked like he was all over this breaking pitch from Logan Allen. Put the Blue Jays up 3-2 in the 5th inning. And George has looked very comfortable, whether he's sitting on a fastball or looking spin, but he is very in control. He's not one that's going to get out front. I remember talking to George in spring training, and it seemed like he was really out front a lot last year, and he said there were times I felt like I was jumping out and the pitcher was 20 feet away from me. So he certainly tried to correct that, be a little quieter with the body and more efficient with the swing.
Yikes, that's no fun. 0-2.
So you get a breaking ball way down and away, and then they come back with the 97 up and in. And they say hitting's hard. Now I get it.
First and second, one out, and a couple of strikes on Springer. Almost hit him with a sweeper. Ball one. Inside again with a sweeper. 2-2. And Colby Allard is up for the second time. And a couple of lefties are due up after Springer. Make it 3 in a row. Full count.
Well, he may be facing his last batter no matter what. Even if he gets out of this inning, I'm sure we'll see Allard with those lefties coming up.
Varsho, Barger, the next couple of hitters. Lucas after them.
You hit in the bottom half of the order. A lot of times you see the starter twice, and then you're dealing with the bullpen.
The 3-2. And a swing and a miss. He'll get Springer for out number 2.
It was a good fastball again at the top of the zone, and he just beats George with it. Good pitch by Williams.
So 2 down, and Joe Stephen Vogt is going to leave Williams. He must like, obviously, the way that Williams has handled Dalton Varsho today. He struck him out twice.
Well, hopefully the third look for Varsho is a charm.
That's a strike on the inside corner at the knees. Again, using that cutter a little bit more.
I'm not sure I like that pitch if I'm Gavin Williams against Varsho, because it's a slower fastball and it's down in the zone. His success has been up with the high velocity.
And then finishing him with a breaking ball down.
Yeah.
Missed badly there. A ball and a strike.
You can call a cutter a breaking ball or a cut fastball, whatever you want. It does have spin, but I find it more of a fastball, just not the same velocity.
The Blue Jays 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Base runners all afternoon long. Varsho fouls it off. 1-2. And another foul off. Feels like every inning of this game has been the same.
Yeah.
Like Blue Jays have had men on, had chances, just looking for that one uppercut, that one, I don't want to call it a knockout blow, but that one big punch to land a couple here.
It would be if Dalton could come through with one right now.
2-2. Up 2-0 out, hitting the Guardians 7-1. Guerrero and Santander aboard. Battling him.
It's a good job even right there getting to that pitch and fouling it off for Dalton. A little different from last year where he'd be underneath that. You can really see he's trying to think of almost getting on top. You have to tell yourself that you're almost chopping down on it. Of course you're not, but it'll help you just get to that baseball.
Pitch number 100 for Williams coming up. And a ground ball to the right side. A sliding stop by Schneemann, and they just do get Varsho to end the inning. 2 more men left on. It is 2-0 Blue Jays at the end of 4 as we get an update now with Brad Fay. The NBA playoffs continue tonight. Jokic, Murray, and the Nuggets host Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers. It is Game 7, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Sportsnet 1. Big crowd today. Got to be a sellout, if not very, very close. And right now they're seeing a game in which the Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. But again, the story, and I know we've talked about it a lot, is all the opportunities they've had. They've left 9 men on through 4 innings. 7 hits, 5 walks, but just 2 runs so far. All we need is a home plate umpire. There he is, Adam Beck.
Just doing some housekeeping there, cleaning up a baseball in the on deck circle.
Kevin Gausman back on the mound. He's been very good. 1 hit, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts through 4. And a swing and a miss by Daniel Schneemann.
I think Kevin would love a quick inning right here. Try to catch up on that pitch count and get back where he wants to be.
And we don't know exactly who is or isn't available. You can make some pretty educated guesses out of the bullpen, but this is kind of the game that, you know, you play every day when the bullpens get used as much as they do right now. But I think we can be fairly certain that a couple of guys are not available for the Blue Jays today. Jeff Hoffman, who knows, threw 26 pitches yesterday and then 27 in that 2-inning outing on Wednesday. He may be down. Brendan Little and Chad Green have each pitched 2 of the last 3 days. Don't know their status. In the air to center, still going back, reaching out, making the catch is Varsho. Kevin Gausman looks like he has a lot of fun watching Dalton Varsho play center field. Every time Varsho makes a catch and we show Gausman, he's got a big smile on his face.
And I don't know about you, Dan, but I thought off the bat that ball was well struck. But look at Dalton go back, and it's just totally under control. Just makes it look pretty easy. And I think Schneemann thought the same thing when he hit it. For sure, it's over his head, but it's pretty hard to get it over Dalton Varsho's head. Kind of have to hit it out of the park.
Here's Will Wilson, the third baseman, and that right off the mask of Tyler Heineman. And right away, Adam Beck is going to give Heineman a little bit of time by walking out of baseball to Kevin Gausman, and Woon Chong and John Schneider are out of the dugout to check on Heinemann.
So he's feeling his ear. A lot of times what will happen when you get that ball right off the mask, it'll ring your head and there'll be a real ringing sound, and I think that's what he was feeling by sticking his finger in his ear right there. When it catches you fairly flush there on the top, it really pushes your head back. And judging by his reaction, that's one that he felt. Not a glancing blow, the ones you like.
And looks like he has convinced everybody he's okay. He might still have to convince Adam Beck, as he is having a chat with him. But Heinemann will stay. Can't be too careful with this kind of stuff these days.
No. You can just see it's still kind of squinting his eyes a little bit. He's feeling it.
Fouled off, and it's 0-2 on Wilson. Filling in for Jose Ramirez today. And a swing and a miss. Strikeout number 6 for Gausman.
Well, this is that little catch-up game that he's playing. If he can have a quick 5th inning, get right back to where he wants to be, but nothing fancy here. 4-seam fastball, and he just blew it by him. And that's been a very good sign. Good velocity from Kevin this afternoon. Good command. He's been all around it. A lot of the concerns that we were having coming into this game after that last start, looking very good with that extra day rest.
Swing and a miss by Brian Rocchio, the shortstop. Hit the ball very hard, but it grounded out in the 3rd. That was the one that staggered Andres Jimenez, but he made the play. That's there, and it's 0-2.
Dan, you were doing the game, if you recall that inning that Kevin was pitching. So you see what he's doing right now, his delivery, his body language, just everything, and how different that is. And that's why what he was doing in Yankee Stadium, it just stood out and stuck out like a sore thumb. It was so different than what we're accustomed to seeing.
He just couldn't find it. He kept asking for new baseballs, kept trying to, you know, he got a couple of visits, one from Pete Walker, one from Alejandro Kirk, but no matter what he did, he just could not command the strike zone like he almost always does, and like he is so far today. He gets Rocchio. That's 7 strikeouts now for Gausman through 5 very strong innings here this afternoon. Through 4.5. Behind Gausman, the Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead.
Welcome back to some Saturday afternoon Blue Jays baseball. The house is packed, and there's just lots going on. Fans are in good spirits as the Jays look to win for the 4th game in a row. As for me, I'm smack dab in the middle of Minecraft Day. It continues, and something I didn't know is that there are die-hard Minecraft fans here today, right here, as you can see, having a blast. And whether you're a kid or a kid at heart, I'm telling you, there's something here for everyone on theme days like today at the ballpark. Dan, I'm going to send it back to you. Let's get back to the game.
Emily, thank you. I can tell you, if you're into Minecraft and if you're into Lego, that's a thing you can have. There's some of that on the living room floor back in my house right now. This is a popular one. Kids love Minecraft. 2-0 going to the bottom of the 5th. And Stephen Vogt has gone to his bullpen for left-hander Colby Allard, and John Schneider is countering with a pinch hitter as Ernie Clement is going to bat for Addison Barger.
Colby Allard's pitched in 2 games for Cleveland, but one of them was 6 innings out of the bullpen in relief. So he's allowed 1 earned run in his 7 innings of work. Hasn't walked a batter, hasn't struck one out, so lots of contact.
Foul ball down the line. Yeah, much different kind of pitcher, obviously, than they saw in Williams. This guy kind of like Logan Allen, the starting pitcher that the Blue Jays saw last night.
Yeah, 4-seamer around 90-91 with a cutter changeup curveball, a little bit of a variety.
Both John Schneider and Ernie Clement feel that Ernie is well suited to pinch hit because he's so aggressive. He comes off the bench not looking to walk. He's coming off the bench looking to swing, as we all know, and you got to be ready to get after it when you're pinch hitting.
And that contactability, right? You're hoping he's putting a ball in play to make something happen. And with the 2-0 lead, he wants his best defense out there for the second half of this ball game, so it works perfectly.
High in the air down the left field line, but foul. See, Clement's had far more success against lefties.
Always better with that ball coming into
That's
than
right.
going away.
Yeah. He checked that swing, and it's 3-2. Nathan Lucas is on deck, but you saw Miles Straw with a helmet on in the dugout, so we'll keep an eye on that. Fair ball down the left field line, and Clement indeed comes through as a pinch hitter. He's got a double.
Well, quite the at-bat for Ernie coming off the bench. He gets a lot of secondary pitches from Allard, and this is a changeup out there, and he stays on it very well. He's got a lot of plate coverage, very aggressive, and just tucks it inside that line.
And now Straw will indeed hit for Lucas.
We'll see if he doesn't drop a bunt down. Both the corners are in. Santana pretty far at first, anticipating a bunt.
He squares, pulls the bat back, and he looks at a strike.
But this ball to the third baseman so that the only play will be at first. Make him field it.
Now he swings away, and it's 0-2. Down and in, ball one.
It's interesting, you'll see that strategy sometimes where a manager will put the bunt sign on the first pitch, and if he fouls it off or misses it and it's strike one, then you just take it off and go to swing. And now you can do these things. You're up 2-0. You can be the aggressor, and that's the benefit of having a 2-run lead. I'm sure John Schneider wishes it was 3 or 4. With all of the traffic they've had on the bases today, but he takes the bunt off, and now he's going for the bigger inning and allowing Straw to swing it.
Out hitting the Guardians 8-1 right now. And a fly ball, pretty well tagged left center. Clement going back, he will tag. Jones the catch, and Clement easily into third. So it's not a bunt, but it works like one, and you see Clement clapping his hands at third as Straw got him an extra 90 feet.
Well, that's the thing. You're giving yourself up. If you're bunting, you're basically giving the team the out. But there are other ways to move the runner, something you hit to the right side, or like that, a fly ball deep enough. So nice job, mission accomplished by Straw.
Clement and Straw, both former Guardians, were teammates in Cleveland not that long ago. Infield in now, and here's Tyler Heineman. Turns around to bat from the right side, and he sends one to center field. Jones setting up. Clement going back to tag. Here he comes. The throw to the plate is not in time, and the sac fly by Heineman will make it 3-0.
This is one of the better arms in baseball in center field, but again, 2-0 lead. You're being aggressive, and you're sending Ernie Clement. Carlos Fable says, yes, you're going, but unfortunately for the center fielder, the throw catches the pitcher's mound. Now, this may have been really close, but as soon as this throw lands on the mound, you're done as an outfielder. You have to clear the mound. Looked like Ernie was going to be in there anyway. That throw came up a little short.
So single runs in the first, the third, and here in the fifth, and it's now 3-0. Andres Jimenez is 1 for 2. This one's hit pretty well, but will be playable shy of the track for Jones, and that'll be the inning. The Blue Jays tack on a run, though, and now lead 3-0. The first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs will wrap up tomorrow night. It will be Game 7. The Jets hosting the Blues. The home team has won all 6 so far. Hockey Central gets you set at 6:30 Eastern to 5:30 Central on Sportsnet. And the puck drops just after 7 Eastern, 6 Central on Sportsnet and CBC. The Jets trying to join the Maple Leafs and the Oilers to make it 3 Canadian teams in the second round. 3-0 Blue Jays, top 6. This is Austin Hedges against Kevin Gausman. And a couple of defensive changes. Ernie Clement will stay in the game at third after pinch hitting for Addison Barger. Miles Straw stays in the game at left after hitting for Nathan Lucas. The whole thing worked out pretty well for John Schneider.
Pretty well. They did a good job at the plate, and he's got his best defenders in there now, too.
Straw coming over for a look on this one, but it's out of play. 0-2. And the 0-2. Looked like he went around, and Adam Beck says he did. That's a strikeout, number 8 this afternoon for Gausman.
Lots of movement on that splitter. Just keeps running in on him, and he just cannot hold it up. This ball's got much more lateral movement than anything.
Yeah. The splitter really can be 2 different pitches, because some go straight down and some run in on the righty.
Yeah, and he'll play with that a little bit. He'll manipulate that pitch, but ideally you generally want it down, but he gets so much arm side movement on everything. Fastballs as well.
Now Stephen Kwan. A 5-pitch out in the first inning, a 10-pitch walk in the third inning.
What if you just first pitch through like an 80-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle? Just let him do what he wants. Just get the at-bat over with.
One way or another. 1-2. Good takes, too.
Yeah, he doesn't bite, does he?
And that was the slider. That's by far the third pitch in Kevin Gausman's arsenal.
And you don't blame him for trying something different just to see if maybe you get a weak swing, weak contact.
Grounded up the middle to his right, Jimenez, and he'll throw him out. Kwan retired, 2 down.
Bring the colors of the ballpark to your home with Beauty Tone Paint's Toronto Blue Jays collection. Only at Home Hardware and Building Centers. Here's how.
2 down in the 6th inning, and Kevin Gausman is having himself an afternoon. He has allowed just 1 hit so far. Here's Nolan Jones, who has struck out and lined out to left. Fastball away. 97 here in the 6th inning. Another very good sign today for Gausman, who's had the combination of velocity and command today.
Yeah, it is all very, very good signs, and again, a very good decision obviously by the Blue Jays to give him that extra day and do what he had to do in between these starts. And of course, that's a lot of credit to the medical people that know exactly what he has to do in terms of his strengthening and This is very encouraging because there had to be a lot of concern. I was coming into this game, my eyes were all over him to watch and see how he was going to react from that last outing, and this looks like the Kevin Gausman you were waiting to see again.
2-1. They're going to get somebody up just in case. 91 pitches now for Gausman. It's Sam Green and Graham Johnson, the two coaches down in the pen. Green, the assistant pitching coach, Johnson, the bullpen coach for the Blue Jays. The 2-2. In and out of the mid of Heineman. So still 2-2 on Jones.
See the reaction from catchers so often because you want to squeeze that ball so hard for your pitcher and get the strikeout. But that's just, you can't do too much about that. Just off the heel.
Well, as the joke goes, you can't practice that.
No. No. Sometimes it sticks, other times it doesn't.
2-2 again. Right on the corner at 98. What a pitch by Gausman. Maybe his best of the afternoon, and there have been many of them here this afternoon. Strikeout number 9. 6 innings, nothing across against him.
Jays fans, if you've got a busy schedule, you can grab a Flex Pack starting at just 3 games. Flex Packs gives you the flexibility to choose the games that work for you. Pick your favorite matchups, promotions, or theme days, and of course, you can visit BlueJays.com/FlexPacks to build yours today, guys.
Emily, thank you. Bottom of the 6th, the sellout here, 40,507. And I'm going to say a very quick hi. I bumped into a nice young man, about 10 years old. His name is Nathan. He plays for the Capitals out of St. John's, Newfoundland.
Wow.
And he was here with his dad. Bumped into them before the game. This one will be out of play. Nathan, a very polite, somewhat shy young man. And his dad said to him, Nathan, tell him what your nickname is. And Nathan just kind of looked at me. And his dad said, tell Dan what your nickname is. Tater.
Tater, like Tony Taters?
Like, yeah. If your nickname is Tater, you got game.
Yeah.
And he's a center fielder. So he's a center fielder whose nickname is Tater.
With power.
And I said to Nathan, we're going to be keeping an eye on you.
Watch out, Dalton.
1-2 the count on Bo Bichette, who has homered his first of the season, walked, and also struck out and then reached on a wild pitch. Mason Fluharty just getting up. A changeup there from Allard, misses well off the corner. 3-2. Santana. He's got room and he makes the catch. Bichette retired, 1 down. Allard wants a new baseball. Here comes Guerrero, 1 for 3. Couple of strikeouts and a bloop single his last time up. Big loopy breaking ball stays high. Ball 1.
As a hitter, you see that ball right out of his hand and you either A, give up on it or stay with it because it's going to be a hanger. It turned out to be the former. Glad he letting it go.
Guerrero sends one high and deep to center. But he just got under it a bit, and it's a few feet short of the fence. 2 down.
Up in the zone, but maybe just a little bit too high to drive it out of the ballpark. It's a cutter from Allard up in the zone, and he hits it high, but not deep enough.
Couple of outs here, bottom 6, and here's Anthony Santander. He's had a good day. A single, a double, and a walk. Turns around now to bat from the right side. Oh, and 2. And that could have been strike 3, called low, and it's ball 1. He keeps trying that changeup. He's thrown 1 to each hitter, but he keeps missing well off the corner.
Anthony staying right on that, getting a good look at that as he walks over to that side of the plate. Have to stay on that pitch.
Three balls and 2 strikes. Springer next if Santander can get aboard. Nothing Blue Jays, bottom of the 6th. And a swing and a miss by Santander to win the inning. We go top 7 here for the Rogers Center, and here comes Fluharty.
Tremendous innings from Kevin Gausman. He turns things over here to Mason Fluharty, who has been gaining more and more leverage opportunities. On Thursday, he got 4 late inning outs on just 6 pitches. He's now averaging 3.75 pitches per plate appearance, which trails only Jeff Hoffman among Blue Jays relievers. And that's thanks to the rookie's execution. His 37% called strike rate is well above the league average of 25%, and over a third of his pitches have been located within a ball width inside or outside the edges of the strike zones. So that tells you how often he is staying off the heart of the plate and how often he is throwing strikes. Fluharty says a big focus this spring was his mental focus on the mound, throwing each pitch of an outing with maximum intent. From watching how veteran big league relievers like Hoffman, Jimmy Garcia go about their business, he said that was eye-opening. He says he's even picked up tips from starters like Chris Bassett and Gausman, whose sustained intensity deep into outings has been inspiring.
Arden, thank you. He's got a lot of things going for him, and he has really impressed a lot of people in his short time in the major leagues. Joe, as Arden said, more and more leverage for Fluharty, although John Schneider will be the first to tell you he kind of threw him into some tough spots early in his career, sometimes out of necessity. Maybe Brendan Little was down, but now they're very comfortable with him in just about any situation, and against lefties and righties. Carlos Santana now batting for the right side, and there's a good example of what Arden was talking about. That cut fastball right on the outside corner, very little over the heart of the plate. Tried to backdoor the sweeper, but he missed.
Came in on Thursday against the Red Sox. It was the top of the order. 3 out of the 4 were lefties, but they're very good left-handed hitters in Duran, Devers, and Abreu. And oh, by the way, Alex Bregman was mixed in there. So leverage indeed, and Mason has earned it.
And for just about everybody he's facing, it's the first time they faced him, and the stuff moves so much. You know, you hear 2 pitches. Cutter 89, sweeper 81, but everything's moving so much, it's hard to pick up.
Yeah, as a hitter going up there, if you heard that's the scouting report on this guy you're about to face, you'd be like, okay, no problem, can handle that. But then you get in the batter's box, and it must look very different.
You can see he works from the far first base edge of the rubber, so if you're a left-handed batter, it must look like it's coming from behind you.
Pretty low slot too with that arm angle. So where it's coming from for a right-handed batter, that's not an angle you see a whole lot, where that release point is.
Picked by Guerrero. The race is on, and Vladdy wins it. That'll be some bragging rights the next time those two are beside each other at first base. Another good defensive play today by Guerrero.
Anytime you can get there as a first baseman, why not? So Vladdy scoops this ball up quickly and knows that he can outrun Santana to the bag.
Remember, Fluharty is a lefty, falls off to the third base side, so he got going quickly, but Guerrero made the right decision.
Anytime you get that pitcher and runner arriving at the bag around the same time, if you can avoid that, please do. Vladdy did so.
Santana retired for the first out of the seventh, and here's Kyle Manzardo, 0 for 2 on a couple of strikeouts. And a high strike call, 0-1. So we talked about Sam Green, the assistant pitching coach for the Blue Jays, who, by the way, pitched at McGill. There's Sam. He is American from the Philly area, but his mom is from Quebec, and he went to McGill and pitched there for a number of years. Has been in the organization for a while now with the big club. And I asked him about Fluharty the other day, and he said if you're a left-handed batter, it looks like it's going to hit you, and if you're a right-handed batter, it looks like it's never going to get into the strike zone. And Sam said, I play catch with Mason Fluharty a lot. Everybody's always playing. Pitchers throw a ton these days. He goes, I play catch with him every day. He said, I swear everything he throws to me is like a slider. Like the guy can't throw a ball straight to save his life. There it is. There's the sweeper to get him. And again, look at the location. If you want to find out what a guy's stuff is like, talk to the guy he plays catch with at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
So often you'll see pitchers play catch with each other, or a coach in Sam's case, and you'll see some awkward catches sometimes because of what the ball is doing. And I can imagine playing catch with Mason, the way the cutter cuts and then the sweeper's much slower, but you see it in the swings, and there's nothing easier to scout than watching hitters' swings against a pitcher. Clearly Mason is giving them a different look.
Again, took him a couple of outings maybe to get acclimated. His first one was against Washington. Remember, C.J. Abrams hit a double off him. I think he threw 5 sweepers in a row. And then his second outing was at Citi Field. Remember the atmosphere in that series?
Soto.
Yeah, faced Soto. Gave up a couple of runs. Since that outing, the only other one where he's given up anything was at Yankee Stadium. He has been virtually unhittable after those first 2 outings of his big league career.
I would say he's settling in.
Yes. And again, look at the location. If you're Noel, that ball looks like it's 2 feet outside, but it catches the outside corner.
Looks like it's never going to get to the zone. Exactly. And I'm sure as you continue to get around the league, there's going to be more information. So Mason is going to have to continue to be sharp and staying on those edges.
Too far outside, 3-1. And he'll admit to you he's more comfortable and relaxed than he was in the first couple of weeks.
Such a transition getting to the big leagues, from everything, from your travel to where you're living to how you're selling to the daily routine when you get to the ballpark.
Ernie Clement with great reflexes at the hot corner. It's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Fluharty, and no doubt he's going to go over to his third baseman and say, thanks for having my back.
Fans, Saturday, May 17th is Blue Jays Barbie Game Day. The first 15,000 fans will go home with a Blue Jays Barbie Hawaiian shirt giveaway, and of course, lots of Barbie-themed activations as well. You can visit bluejays.com/promotions to get your tickets now. Dan?
Emily, thank you. Bottom of the 7th, 3-0 Blue Jays. George Springer to face Colby Allard. This is after the inning. Mason Fluharty, another 3-up, 3-down inning. And some props from his pitching coach.
You know what else that does, Dan, to a young player? You get called up and he's off to a nice start and things are selling, but now he's pitching in these leverage games. He comes into a 3-0 ball game. It gives you that confidence that they have confidence in you to put you in these situations. So this is it's a win-win early on here for Fluharty.
And again, 2 runs down, 2 runs up. Lefties, righties, everything is on the table right now because he has earned that right.
And that's the thing with both him and Brendan Little from the left side. These guys, the way they get right-handers out.
Springer 2 for 3. A single and a double. Now to play in a full count. He'll be followed by Varsho and then Clement here in the bottom of the 7th. The Blue Jays try to run their winning streak to 4 and get over the 500 mark. Bichette with his first home run of the season today. 6 outstanding innings from Kevin Gausman. Santana might have a play here. He will, and he makes the catch as Springer is retired.
Well, hitters always know when they pop it up in foul territory, they hope that thing gets into the seats, and he's trying, he's pushing it. Get out of here. Get out of here. Ah. Pretty animated.
I was wondering because he likes to do it against lefties, and the third baseman is in, but as Blue Jay fans know, when Varsho's trying to bunt for a base hit against a lefty, he's trying to bunt it right to towards where the second baseman is. Pitcher lefty falls off to the third base side.
Get it past the pitcher, he's good, right?
Yeah. He doesn't push it, he tries to bring it with him and towards the second baseman. Every now and again. Saw it mostly in his first year. Did a bunch in his first year with the Blue Jays back in 23.
Which isn't easy either because you're squaring and that ball's coming from behind you almost.
This one back out of play. It remains 0-2. Chad Green up in the bullpen for the Blue Jays, which probably confirms what we suspected, that after what Jeff Hoffman did yesterday, number of pitches that he threw in his save, that he might be down today. So it could be Green in the 8th and all going well Jimmy Garcia in the 9th.
And even with Chad, I was wondering if he'd be available today. He pitched yesterday, not much, 11 pitches, but 2 of the last 3 for him as well.
Varsho down on strikes for out number 2. And now Clement, who didn't start the game, but he's had a major impact on the game. He doubled and scored in the 5th and then made that really nice defensive play to end the top of the 7th. And he was way out in front of that slow curveball. And that'll be that. End of 7. Blue Jays 3 and the Guardians nothing. Let's get an update now with Brad and Caleb in the Home Hardware studio.
On Wednesday, May 14th, the first 15,000 fans to Rogers Center are scoring a Dalton Varsho Gold Glove bobblehead. Reflect on Dalton's outstanding defensive performance in 2024 and watch some 2025 baseball action as your Jays take on the division rivals, the Rays. To learn more and get your tickets, visit bluejays.com/promotions.
Emily, thank you. Dalton Varsho is healthy. He is back. He's hit a couple of home runs already, made a couple of great catches. He's got his bobblehead day coming. He's a new dad.
Life is good.
Yeah. Here's Chad Green in with a 3-run lead in the top of the 8th.
Chad pitched a scoreless inning yesterday, also hit a batter, but that ERA at 3.86 right now, the whip at 1.21. He's not walking many, just 3 walks, 11 strikeouts.
Daniel Schneemann turns one around and hits it out. 3 home runs now on the season for Schneemann and the first run of the afternoon for the Guardians.
Remember that ball that Schneemann hit in his last at-bat in the 5th inning deep to center field, and he was upset that Varsho got to it, but nobody is getting to this one. Fastball on the inner part of the plate at 95, and did he ever clear that out of there?
And the home run ball continues to be a problem for Chad Green this season. That's the 6th he has given up. Angel Martinez now pinch hitting for Will Wilson. Pete Walker on the phone.
Martinez started last night's game in center field, went 0 for 4. Gave way to Nolan Jones this afternoon.
Green out in front of him, 0-2. Bounces in a slider that looks like it hit Heineman
They've got
in
his
the hand, maybe. Yeah, whatever it is, it hurt. Heineman is having a rough day back there. Got a foul tip off the, or a foul ball off the mask before into this one to get him on the right hand.
You get over there, looks
Forearm.
like the forearm,
Yeah.
and that's all bone right there. Not a whole lot of meat.
Hit hard but foul down the line. Jimmy Garcia.
No fooling around when you get to this point, right? You've got to close this thing out. 2-run lead here late.
You know, you look at just the velocity for Green. He's a 2-pitch guy, fastball, slider. The numbers are the same in terms of how hard he's throwing the ball, but for whatever reason, when they're making contact, it has been up in the air, and they are hitting it out on him so far this year. But there's a strikeout of Martinez for the first out. And as you said, he came in with a 3.86 ERA. He's had a lot of good outings for the Blue Jays, but the home run has been a problem.
Yeah, and you wonder if the same life is on that fastball, like that home run just hit by Schneemann. And of course the sliders, you know, the sliders biting, they're good, but if they're not biting, they're hanging out in the middle of the plate, and those can go a long ways too, and that's been his issue.
A slider for a strike to Brian Rocchio.
That's the one there. Much better.
0-2. Three sliders, and he strikes him out on 3 pitches, 2 down.
Well, sometimes it's a little adjustment, but whatever he's doing to that slider there, that's a much improved pitch. Get that downward action.
And now Austin Hedges will bat for himself. Get a light hitting catcher. Bo Naylor, of course, is the primary catcher for the Guardians. He homered in last night's game. Good location on that slider, and it's 0-2. Trying to finish strong. A home run to the leadoff man, but a couple of strikeouts since. Ball 1. Garcia continuing to throw in the bullpen. Stephen Kwan on deck. Check swing by Hedges, and it's 2-2. Three and 2 now. And there's Kwan hoping for a shot here this inning. Got him. Strikes him out. Strikes 3 Guardians out after giving up the home run to Schneemann. But he does finish strong, and the Blue Jays will take a 3-1 lead to the bottom of the 8th.
May 15th is Work from Dome at Rogers Center. Head down to the ballpark for some afternoon Blue Jays baseball and get some work done while you're at it. Visit bluejays.com/promotions to snag your seats today.
Emily, thank you. A big crowd here today, better than 40,000, a sellout on this Saturday afternoon. And the Blue Jays take a 3-1 lead to the bottom of the 8th as Miles Straw leads it off and hits it hard but foul down the line. Defensive changes for Cleveland as Angel Martinez remains in the game at second base, and that'll move Daniel Schneemann over to third. Straw, Heineman, and Jimenez for the Blue Jays here, bottom 8. With the top of the order coming up for the Guardians, top 9. And Colby Allard, meanwhile, for Cleveland, he did give up a run in his first inning, but he's pitched 3 innings, saving Stephen Vogt from having to use anybody else, and he's kept them in the game.
And this was a day that I think Vogt got his bullpen back into a better situation. Last night did not have his big guys available, Class A and Smith, and probably even Gaddis, but without the lead here, you won't need your big guys, so he'll have them fresh for the final game of this series.
Strike 3 called. Straw retired, 1 down. Here's Tyler Heineman, 0 for 2, and then that sacrifice fly in the 5th inning that got the Blue Jays their 3rd run of the ball game. Trying to bunt for a base hit, but he pushes it foul.
We've seen him do that, and he's got a pretty good idea, doesn't he?
Yeah. That's the side he is more comfortable bunting from. That's the side until this year. This is the side that he has traditionally been weaker on, but he has hit very well from the right side this year.
For a right-handed batter, you can basically, when you're bunting like that, stick the barrel right toward the first baseman. You create that angle for the bunt to go right down that third base line. Didn't quite execute there, but right idea.
The ground ball out to second, and Martinez will make the play, 2 down. Now Allard will face Andres Jimenez, the former Guardian, the Blue Jays second baseman, 1 for 3 today, 3 for 7 in the series. Just foul.
Allard has started lots in the past, so he is an ideal long reliever for Stephen Vogt to get in a ball game like this. And as we noted earlier, he came out of the bullpen through 6 innings earlier.
This one is trying to find the seats, and it will. 0-2. Chad Green talking to Pete Walker. There's tomorrow's starter, Bowden Francis. He'll start the final game of the series. Blue Jays Central at 1 o'clock Eastern. First pitch at 1:37.
Might be trying to solve that home run issue, but Chad made some great pitches after that. That slider was very good.
In on the hands of Jimenez just a bit, and a fly ball to center field to end the inning. So it's on to the 9th with a 2-run lead. Jimmy Garcia trying to finish it off.
The biggest jackpot in baseball is over $1 million, and the deadline to join in is just over 24 hours away. You could still also win a trip to the All-Star Game and the Bahamas. Get your tickets before midnight tomorrow at bluejays.com/5050 from Ontario or Nova Scotia. Dan?
Emily, thank you. What a jackpot that is, and what a performance by Kevin Gausman today. Bounced back very, very nicely from that start at Yankee Stadium. 6 innings, just 1 hit, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts, seemed to be in command the entire afternoon.
Absolutely. A couple of great things that I noticed from Kevin Gausman. Number one, the velocity was back, and what he did with that velocity with his fastball is he filled the zone with it. And when you're pounding the zone with your fastball for strikes, it really sets up that secondary pitch, gets the hitters in swing mode. Took advantage of a Cleveland lineup that's not at their best right now, so why not pound them? And that's exactly what he did, using the top and bottom. I thought it was really good, effective using the bottom of the zone with that fastball against the lefties as well.
Jimmy Garcia on to try to get the final 3 outs. Again, obviously Jeff Hoffman is down today after the save that he picked up in yesterday's game. Had to work pretty hard to get it up into the mid-20s in terms of pitches, so it'll be Garcia to face the top of the Cleveland lineup, beginning with the ultimate pest in Stephen Kwan, who was 1 for 3 today, 4 for 8 in the series, has seen a ton of pitches.
Jimmy earned his second save on Thursday with a scoreless ninth against the Red Sox with Hoffman down.
I mean, what a luxury to have Jeff Hoffman pitching as well as he is, and what a luxury to have this guy as plan B, if you will.
Well, how about going out in the winter and signing 2 free agent relievers, basically both closers?
Lined into right, and Kwan is aboard again. His 5th hit in 2 games. He's something else.
Sure is. Jimmy will use that curveball to some left-handed batters, but it curves right down and in there to the barrel of Kwan.
So the tying run will come to the plate with nobody out here in the 9th inning. It's Nolan Jones, who is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Swung on and missed, 0-1. Remember, no Jose Ramirez for the Guardians. Sprained ankle. They're playing it safe a little bit. It doesn't appear to be too serious, but Stephen Vogt said they think the smart play here is to not play him today. He could be in there tomorrow. Wait and see. And I guess who knows, he could have come off the bench and could be standing in the on-deck circle, or could have been hitting here for Jones, but obviously they want to give him the full day just to play it safe. 0-2. Just inside. Bo Naylor homered in last night's game, may be called upon. The 2-2, and a foul back by Jones. Strike 3 called at the knees.
Good job by Tyler Heineman behind the plate here, getting this pitch for Garcia. It's a breaking ball down, and he just makes it look good enough to get the call from Adam Beck as it catches the bottom of the zone. It's not just pitches off the plate that you want to try to get called strikes. You want to make sure the ones that catch the edge are called strikes.
Jones retired for the first out of the 9th, but now Garcia's got to deal with Carlos Santana. 0 for 2 with a walk today. Homered in last night's game. Low ball 2.
Jimmy working for the 3rd time in the last 4 days, so the Bullpen is certainly taxed to a degree here, so you're asking him to come in and try to be at his best. You're not necessarily going to get the best, but you want it to be good enough.
This one out of play down the right field line. He had 12 pitches in a save Thursday night, 9 pitches Wednesday night. So at least efficient in each of those 2 outings.
Lock this down and enjoy a couple of days off, Jimmy.
2-1 the count. 2-2 now on Santana. He's had some success, as you can see, in his career against Garcia.
Bunch of fastballs before he went to the breaking ball to strike out Jones. See if he doesn't spin it again.
Went to that 2-seam fastball and it's fouled back. Got so many different pitches, especially for a relief pitcher.
Yeah, he does. He'll spin it, but with the lefties, you see more of the curveball as the breaking pitch. And an elevated fastball.
Kwan the lead, 2-2 again. Just missed, and it's full. Kyle Manzardo on deck. There goes Kwan. No, he stops, and it's ball 4 to Santana. And now the Guardians have 2 men on.
Tyler Heineman comes out of his stance here because he thinks the runner is going. Now it's a ball just off the corner, but that's I think what Tyler's doing right there is he's saying, geez, I came up out of my stance there. I could have received that ball a little bit better, maybe gotten the call, but you have to react to what's happening. But that's what Kwan's fake little break can do.
And now Arias will run for Santana. He represents the tying run. That's the guy who matters right now. Strike 1 to Manzardo. Again, not hitting for much of an average, but he does have power. One swing and a miss. 0-2.
Good option, that ball going away.
If Garcia needs help, if the pitch count gets too high, it looks like it would be Ariel Rodriguez. Play on its second, and back in is the runner, Kwan.
I think Jimmy needs to focus on the hitter here. Don't try to get too cute. I don't think he's a guy that's necessarily comfortable with these pickoffs.
0-2. Bounce foul.
A couple of really good changeups from Garcia. And the good part of those pitches, they're diving down and away from the left-handed batter. The breaking pitches are coming into Manzardo. Now that's the one that can be dangerous unless it's really biting, coming into his barrel.
Again, the 0-2. Fouled straight back as he elevated that fastball. These Guardians may not be a great offensive team, and they're not. They're bottom third in the majors in a lot of important categories, but they'll battle you.
Yeah.
And by battle you, I mean just keep fouling off 2-strike pitches and getting another one.
Well, they've got a lot of swing and miss though, but they just don't strike out a ton.
So they got a 2-strike approach, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we saw a lot of those foul balls off Gausman early in the ball game. Really pushed up his pitch count before he was able to recover and keep it in check.
They've got Garcia up to 21 pitches already. Bo Naylor's in the on-deck circle for John Kenzie Noel. There's a lot going on right now here in the ninth. Again, the 0-2. And again, it's fouled off. That's 4 straight 2-strike foul balls by Kyle Manzardo. Bounced in and blocked by Heineman.
You block this baseball and you feel it get away from you. You panic a little bit, so he's on this ball in a hurry, not knowing right now with your head down if the runners are going to advance. Sigh of relief.
The set by Garcia. And now the 1-2 and a swing and a miss to get him 2 down.
Stay away. What's he do? He goes with the 4-seam fastball. His bread and butter up and away from Manzardo. Tough pitch to get to, and he comes up empty.
And now Pete Walker out to have a conversation with Garcia because Bo Naylor is coming to the plate. Mississauga's own, who's got a lot of power and showed it last night.
Well, Bo hit a first pitch sinker off Chris Bassett here in the 4th inning, and he hit it a long ways to center field, down in the zone. So this is a different look from Garcia. I expect Pete's conversation out on the mound right now to be a lot about that 4-seamer up in the zone to Naylor.
I saw Naylor over by the Cleveland clubhouse before the game, shook hands, and I said, how many friends and family you got here today? And he just kind of, he's a very, very amiable young man.
Sure.
Just kind of sheepishly smiled and said, a lot.
A lot. Is this any good playing at home?
So they're rooting for him, but just about everybody else rooting for Jimmy Garcia and the Blue Jays to get this final out and nail down this victory. Up and away, ball 1. Two on, 2 out here in the 9th. Up and away again, ball 2.
Right game plan. I'm sure that's what the conversation was about, but you see Jimmy coming out of his delivery there. This is where you have to really bear down because we're talking the workloads. 3rd day in 4 that he's pitched, and you have to really stay in sync. Tough.
Playing a lot of close games means a lot of work for the high leverage relievers. At the top of the zone, 2-1. The 97-98s are more like 94-95s right now.
That's what the workload does. Asking a lot.
Just off the corner, ball 3. A nervous 9th. Fouled back, and now it's 3-2. Daniel Schneemann, who homered his last time up, is on deck. As 40,000 to get to their feet here at the Rogers Center. And it's ball 4 to load the bases. 30 pitches now thrown by Garcia. The tying run is at second. The go-ahead run is at first. And Garcia, and again, maybe because of the workload, just not as sharp as he has been all season so far for the Blue Jays.
It's a different look when you're fresh and rested a few days when we see his 97s blowing by people.
Schneemann has made a lot of loud contact here today. Not only the home run in the 8th, but a fly ball to the warning track in center in the 5th.
You really have to dig deep. It doesn't mean you can't get the job done. You might just have to do it a different way by spinning it or whatever the case may be. But Jimmy trying to do it on fumes right now.
The 0-1. And it's hit to right field, deep and gone. With 2 outs in the 9th inning, Daniel Schneemann hits a grand slam off Jimmy Garcia, and Cleveland has the lead.
Just not the same Jimmy Garcia when he's had the workload. You have to bring him on. You hope that he has enough in this inning to get you through and save you a ball game, and you give him a couple of days off. But that's a guy just battling his tail off right there with not his best stuff, and it was not enough.
5-3 Guardians. And with a huge afternoon for the Guardians, he homered in the 8th for their first run, and now a 2-out grand slam here in the 9th.
Very dangerous. Jimmy came back with a fastball. Certainly did not want it there. Center cut. You see Heineman set up out there away. He wanted to miss. Always on the outside part of the plate. Make a hitter use the big part of the ballpark at this point in the ball game, but he made a mistake, and Schneemann made him pay.
So it's 5-3 Cleveland. Yariel Rodriguez is now into the game to make his 12th appearance of the season. And again, you go back to some of the earlier at-bats. Santana, Naylor, foul a pitch off, work Garcia for a walk, and eventually he had to throw 30 pitches in the inning.
That's a tough inning. It's a long inning, and you just hope the hitter can roll a ball over or pop one up, and it just didn't happen. You're almost, you know, he was on fumes. You could see that. But you'll take Jimmy Garcia in that state to try to get through it. It just didn't happen.
Fouled back 1-1 on Angel Martinez. And Emmanuel Clase will be coming on in the bottom of the 9th. It's in there, 2-2. The Blue Jays will have the top of the order coming up in the bottom of the 9th. Bichette, Guerrero, and Santander. And he got him. Or did he foul it off? He did. A foul ball, and it was in the dirt, so still 2-2 on Martinez. And you know how that whole bottom of the, or top of the 9th started?
Kwan.
Stephen Kwan.
Stephen Kwan. What a player.
Strike 3 called. But they get 4 on one swing of the bat. Can the top of the order get something going here for the Jays? We're back with you tomorrow for the final game of this series. Blue Jays Central at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. First pitch at 1:37. Tanner Bybee for the Guardians. Bowden Francis for the Blue Jays. So now the Blue Jays are coming up here in the bottom of the 9th. They were a strike away from winning it in the top half. Now here is Emmanuel Clase, who had an incredible 2024 season. 47 saves, an ERA of 0.61, but as you can see from the numbers, it has been a different story for him so far this year.
It certainly has, and he earned the save in his last time out against the Minnesota Twins. Pitched an inning, allowing a run on a couple of hits. He did strike out 3, but it's been a struggle to get him back, and Stephen Vogt has put him right back in. He said the other day that all of his relievers need to be ready all the time. There is only one pitcher with a role, and it's this man right here. And Emmanuel Clase has been called upon to close it out.
Bo Bichette will lead it off. Bichette hit his first home run of the season back in the first. He's 1 for 3 with a walk overall. 99, and that's a cutter. That is his primary pitch. Doesn't move a ton, but sometimes a little can be enough with the kind of velocity that he's got.
He'll mix in a slider as well, but a lot of 98 to 100-mile-per-hour cutters. There's the slider.
Went around, and it's 0-2. Martinez is now out in center. Jones has moved to right. Arias is at third. Schneemann's gone back to second. It has all paid off for Stephen Vogt here today. Up the middle. Backhanded out at second, one down. Now Guerrero. Vladdy is 1 for 4. Had a base hit in the fourth. And a bouncer back to the mound. Clase with all kinds of time, and now the Blue Jays are down to their final out.
47, 44, and 42 saves in each of his last 3 seasons. This guy has been about as automatic as they come.
Boy, it's one thing to take a lead to the ninth. It's another thing to get an out away. It's another thing to be a strike away. They were as close can be. And Daniel Schneemann had other ideas, and all of the Cleveland hitters really put up very competitive at bats against Jimmy Garcia. And again, maybe because of the workload, third time in 4 days, just didn't look quite like himself. He has been lights out all year until today.
And he's the guy you go to right there. I will take him 100 times out of 100. Working his third game in 4 days. You take your chances, and unfortunately couldn't get through it. You just thought he was going to make that one pitch to end it.
1-1 the count on Santander. 2 for 3 with a single, a double. He's also walked. And now the Blue Jays are down to their final strike. Fouled off. You know, you think back to some of the early innings when they had so many men on base and couldn't get a bigger lead than they had. Left 9 men on in the first 4 innings. Colby Allard came and did a whale of a job for the Guardians.
Kept them in it.
Yeah, 4 innings, 1 run. Bowden Francis tomorrow. Again the 1-2. And again fouled off by Santander. Trying to do anything he can to get on base and get George Springer to the plate. Outside, 2-2. Santander has popped it up, and that is the ball game. The Guardians with a grand slam at the top of the 9th off the bat of Daniel Schneemann, even up the series at a win apiece, snap the Blue Jays losing streak, prevent the Blue Jays from getting over the 500 mark as they rally late and win it by a score of 5-3.
That's a long face right there by catcher Tyler Heineman. Kind of great game behind Kevin Gausman. A fantastic effort rebounding from that start in New York, but it turns out to be not enough on an afternoon where the Blue Jays offense just could not continue to add on, and a little bit of a depleted bullpen probably cost them.
Well, the Blue Jays have been doing this the last few days. Late inning comebacks. They have it done to them here today. The final Cleveland 5 and the Blue Jays 3. Let's go to Brad and Caleb in the Home Hardware Studio.